Hi everyone, welcome to Salt Pages YouTube channel. Today I'm going to tell you how to explain the SQL Server architecture in the interviews. Maybe the interviews can ask the same question in different ways, like can you walk me through the internal architecture of the SQL Server, or can you explain how a SQL Server works behind the scenes, or else describe the major components involved in the SQL Server to process a query, or else give me an overview of SQL Server internal engine. So they maybe ask you the same question in different ways, but the answer is same. So today I'm going to tell you how to explain the SQL Server architecture in the interview. So let's start. So whenever you run any query, it is a select statement or a non-select statement. First, it has to go to the SNA layer. SNA layer is SQL Server Network Interface. So SNA layer is also called as a protocol layer. It will contain protocols. One is named pipe, shared memory, and TCP/IP. So when your SQL Server is installed in the same machine, then the shared memory should be enabled. When your SQL Server is connected through a LAN, then named pipe should be enabled. And when your SQL Server is connected through a WAN, that is in a remote location, then TCP/IP should be enabled. So in this protocol layer, it will be checking the correct protocols. If the correct protocol is enabled, then it will go to the command parser. So command parser is the one who is checking the synthetic errors and semantic errors. So synthetic errors is like whenever we use the functions like insert, update, or delete, these functions are really existed in the SQL Server or not. It will be checking by the synthetic checks. Semantic check is like whatever the database names or table names that we're using inside a query, those are really existed in the SQL Server or not. It will be checked by the semantic errors. If all good, it will go to the query optimizer, or else it will throw an error. So a query optimizer is responsible for creating a best and optimal execution plan based on the statistics available. And after this query optimizer create a best execution plan, then it will go to the query executor. So the query executor has to execute the query. So to execute the query, it needs the help of access methods. So access method is the one which decides if it is a select statement or a non-select statement. If it is a select statement, it will go to the buffer manager. If it is a non-select statement, it will go to the transaction manager. Then it will go to the transaction log. So if it is a select statement, it will go to the buffer manager, which will contain a plan cache, data cache, buffer pool, and dirty pages. So buffer manager is the one who manages the temporary memories. So whatever the requested data is available in the data cache, then it will get the data and it will show you the output. So this process we call it as logical reads. If the requested data is not available in the data cache, then it has to go back to the data file which is in a physical disk, and it has to get the data from the data file. So this process we call it as a physical reads. That's it. So this is how I'll tell the skill architecture in interviews. If you have a different strategy, then you can also follow that also. So I'm not explaining the entire process in this video. I'll explain in the next video, or else I'll do a dedicated video for SQL architecture. Thanks for watching.